Hey guys, how's it going? I'm here to pick up the Advent calendar where we left off on the 16th. My apologies for the lapse the last couple of days. I hate it when readers are flaky, so trust me, I empathize. I'm sorry, my life just like literally has been out of control for the last couple of days. The good news is I have a bed finally, so I'm not sleeping on the floor anymore. So let's pick up with the 16th where we left off. And the card is Ascended Master El Moria and the Blue Star Sapphire, talking about higher will. Let's take a look at what that says. It's a 20, so 2. Okay, so we bring you the blessing of higher will. There's a great plan of divine love unfolding throughout the universe, and the fulfillment of your divine destiny is included. Sometimes it may seem hard to trust in higher will, yet if you do, it can bring a feeling of great relief that you don't have to have all the answers or be in control for everything to still work out beautifully in your world. Surrender empowers you to get on with life and trust that all is happening exactly as it should according to a greater intelligence and love. Sometimes, however, the mind wants to control the higher plan. It wants to decide when something should happen and how and with whom and in what way. It might convince itself that this personal opinion is actually the higher plan itself, and then feel betrayed, frightened, or confused when things, quote, don't go according to plan. The mind can be a great ally on the spiritual path, but it needs to be given reassurance and regular compassionate reminders that although it is powerful, it is not privy to the workings of the entire universe. Nor does it need to be for you to be happy, free, and manifesting your divine destiny. This oracle comes to you now because the mysterious workings of higher will are at work in your life, and you will find peace and even awe as you relax your mind and choose to trust now. Okay, that's really interesting. There's a lot more. I won't read it. I won't read it all, but let me go on, actually, since we have some to make up. Okay, so the 17th, which was yesterday, says, what have been the most important moments of learning in my life? Right? What are the lessons that I have taken away from them? And it's interesting that this talks about relinquishing the need to control to the universe, right? And then the question that comes right after it is like, what lesson did you learn? So the question is, and you know, in the weekly reading, it was very much about these two paths and sort of being obsessed about what's the right thing to do, right? That which one, I don't know which is the right answer. And that assumes that A, there is a right answer, and B, as this suggests, that your mind would even be, as the book says, privy to that information. You know, it says there's a divine a divine plan at work through you, which you may not know about, but it doesn't mean it's not happening. Let me do the next card. So this is today's, right? This is from the Art Oracle. So this deck is always kind of hit or miss. So let's see what we have here. Marcel Duchamp standing in front of a urinal. So nice little twist of pace from all the spiritual iconography. It says, scandal before stardom. Making it look easy is hard. May your bathroom humor leave a serious legacy. It's quite cryptic. Let me read what she has to say about Marcel Duchamp here. Okay, so Marcel Duchamp was the granddaddy of Dada and precursor to pop. Marcel Duchamp wrote the fuzzy blueprint for conceptual art and gifted art history the, quote, ready-made, a mass-produced object elevated to art status by the baptizing artist. An example is his famous fountain, nay, a common urinal. Wordplay and irony were God to Duchamp, who caused consternation, early in his career, which means like a ruckus, with his nude descending a staircase, number 2, a mechanical painting of the eponymous action with nary a nude bit distinguishable. Recognition only found Duchamp in his twilight years, but his posthumous legacy is having a heyday. Okay, well, that explanation's a little bit heady. What I sort of take away is, so a lot of times artists don't see their fame. A situation like a Jeff Koons, who famous and wealthy from his art in his lifetime, is very rare. Most people are not understood in their own period and are understood afterwards. The Vincent van Gogh, or Van Gogh, however you prefer, sold one painting in his entire lifetime. He died thinking he was a failure, and now his artwork is the highest auctionable pieces to date. So it's like, I think with this higher will and lesson card here, that what this is saying is, and this came up also in the weekly reading, that even if you aren't seeing the changes you're expecting, like we all have written in our head a very specific plan, right? And when it doesn't go the way we want it to go, then we think things are wrong. And actually this came up also in the weekly reading about which path to choose. Do I take which one is the right choice? And that assumes that there is a right choice. And that assumes that your mind, or our mind, is even privy to the information of what the right choice would be. I use this example a ton of times, but like Adele, who at the time that she got dumped by that guy and wrote all of her songs, I'm sure she was like, my life is absolute shit. This is terrible. Nothing is going right. I'm unloved, blah, blah, blah. And she writes one of the most powerful albums of all time, becomes a major singer, right? So that thing not working out for her turned out to be the cause of her success, right? So just because things aren't working out the way that you're hoping them to work out doesn't mean that they're not working out the way that they're supposed to, right? That's very different. And this, there's growth, and we saw it also in the weekly reading, that there is definitely some sort of magic afoot. Now, magic is not produced by us. It is produced by a power that is greater than us. We can only channel it. And, one of the things that I'm thinking here about this card and like this card is that in order to fulfill whatever is the divine will, it's not about picking which road is according to you and your current mind context, which, by the way, our brains are only capable of projecting a future based on what they already know. We are not able to project a future for us that is different than anything we've ever expected. 5 years ago, if you told me that I would be sitting here writing a master's thesis for neuroscience, I would have told you were insane, like insane. And yet here I am. So we are not able to project a future for us as wide open as the future can actually be. And how we are able to sort of channel the magic energy that is around us and move into directions that we don't even expect is by doing two things: staying open to our plan not being the only option, and by staying very faithful to what makes our heart sings, right? Or what make our hearts sing. Duchamp, it's an interesting thing. It was art because he said it was art. And at the time, people were like, this guy's a nutcase. But then it turned out that he was right? Because he could see things, the zeitgeist, before it was hitting the common culture. So he either saw it, he was an antenna for what was incoming, and he was also part of the creation of it. And he did it by being faithful to his own vision. And so his success, no, did he get to see it? Not necessarily. So it's not for all of us to see necessarily the extent of our own impact. That's our ego that needs to see that. But if we trust that every time we do what makes us feel like a little tweeting canary with a crown on it, that's when the divine energy is really at work. And our need to receive confirmation that this is the right plan is very much our own shit. It's like, that's us, that we need to, like, am I right or am I wrong? And it's the brain. The brain hates to be wrong. And if it was a useless tool, then God wouldn't have created it and we wouldn't have it. So it's a wonderful tool, but it's limited. As I said, it can only project the future based on what it's already experienced. So that literally means that you're not able to imagine things drastically different. So what's the point of all these messages these last 3 days? And actually, I'm going to read tomorrow's too, since I was late. So this is from the Jung deck. This is another one of those hit or miss. And I can't tell if this is a 4 or 3 of Pentacles. I think it's the 3 of Pentacles. Yeah, it's the 3 of Pentacles because there's the 3 layers, right? And we talk about in psychology, there's the 3 layers of the human mind, and there's the ego, the superego, and the id. And this is sort of like the driving nature. This is what you see, and then this is sort of the protection shell, or this is who we are, and then this is the shell around it. But the point here is this is the 3 of Pentacles. And so that's talking, remember, he's like an artisan. He's making his artwork, and this one is not here, so I'm just going to talk about the one that it normally is. Although it looks like, you know what it reminds me of? I don't know if any of you know Mark Rothko, the painter. It reminds me of a Rothko. The point, this guy is an artisan showing his wares to people who may or may not understand what it is that he's trying to do, right? This artisan in that traditional 3 of Pentacles may be misunderstood, or he may be just starting to sell, or maybe he's like starting to expand his audience. All we know is that what he's starting to do is bring the things that make his soul sing into the public, right? And there may be some pushback that comes from singing your song. Not everybody's gonna accept it, not everybody's gonna like it. Everyone will look at your song through their eyes, and it doesn't necessarily mean that your song is meant for them. But whatever it is, so if you're not seeing the results that you're like, I'm so authentic with myself, I've been doing my work, I'm laying the groundwork, I'm starting to, but things aren't coming in fast enough, I'm not seeing the results. You may never, but that doesn't mean stop. There is very rarely will you receive confirmation that, yes, this is 100% the right path. Perhaps some of the things that you do are meant for discovery later on. The point is to keep, and this came up in the weekly reading, it was not about choosing one, it was about walking the path, moving forward, going towards a destiny. It's like you're already on it. So instead of worrying about the black or the white, left, right, this guy, that guy, to continue to move forward with this sort of like song in your heart, with the canary spirit, which brings us, there's the 3 again, which brings us this abundance, this growing abundance. And there's the sort of, even the urinal plays in, because it's a 3-corner triangle, and here we go with the triangle. So that's, that's the shape. So there's the 3 marrying up again. And this is a 12, which is a 3 also. So so the foundations are being set. It might not necessarily be at a 4 yet. So all 4 corners covered off. It's at a triangle. but things are moving in the right direction. And the lesson to me is very much about, you never know, right? That's the biggest thing. You never know how something you said, how something you did, what impact that's essentially going to have on the universe as a whole. You may actually never see some of those things. So you have to sort of trust that things are happening the way they are supposed to not be afraid of things not working out the way you planned, because sometimes that is exactly what you need to put you right back, to course correct you, to get you on the path that you need. And to be open to flow with the universe and its own song, and to grow even in unexpected places, as long as you are sort of channeling this energy. Remember, this one was about being able to see the things that other people don't see, which is really what Duchamp was doing, or seeing things in a way, changing how people see things, right? Like he took a urinal and he put it up on a wall. It's kind of like that. I don't know if you guys are talking about it. There's this artist Catalan here. He's famous Italian. He just did this work where he taped a set of bananas to a wall and he charged 120,000 euro for it. And people, of course, have been cracking up like crazy. They've been selling DIY Catalan kits at the supermarket. Gotta love the Italian sense of humor. But, it's about seeing the world differently. And it doesn't mean like sometimes the way you see things, people are going to challenge that because it's not the way they see it. But that doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean they're wrong either. It's just different, and each is meant for its own purpose, right? So as long as you are faithful to this, it's impossible to get the path wrong. There is no wrong path because it's all part of the plan. And if it's not, like if you are to make a, let's say, left turn and it goes in a direction that is not helping you blossom, it will inevitably push you back onto a path that will, right? Or bumping into that wall is what gives you the information, strength, energy, whatever, to be able to make your masterpiece, create your masterpiece. The picture is not it, but, all right, awesome. Remember, and this was the other thing. It was about like building what's in your heart and seeking out what you desire. That once you're very clear on what it is that you desire, when you're projecting from your heart, then those things they find their way back to you. All right, so pretty cool. So I'm covered for tomorrow. So I will see you on the 20th, which is Friday. Okay, see you Friday. Thanks again. Ciao.